small modular reactor at Clinch River site in East Tennessee. Leaders say the project will serve as a national model for energy demand surges from AI to data centers. TVA says the site prep could begin in 2026 alongside other advanced nuclear projects planned across the valley. Will Dudley, Access Tennessee News.
FM 1019, FM 100.5, wgnsradio.com. The Good Neighbor Network.
SRM Concrete is the largest ready-mix producer in the country, yet is still family-owned and operated. Locally grown, nationally known, SRM delivers unmatched quality and service. You call, we haul. We're SRM Concrete.
We're the Good Neighbor Network. FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro. FM 100.5 Smyrna. Audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is Rutherford Issues, hitting right at what matters most to all of us here in the heart of Tennessee. From Murfreesboro to Smyrna, Eagleville to Laverne, Leanna to Barfield, and everywhere in between. If it matters to you, you'll hear about it here on Rutherford Issues. Now your host, Brian Barrett.
Well, hey, hi, and hello there, fun lovers and truth seekers. Welcome in to Rutherford Issues here from News Radio, WGNS. Happy to have you along for the ride today here on this Wednesday, the third day of December. See, I'm going to go backwards, aren't I? Oh, it's hard to believe Christmas time is here. It sure feels like it, though, with all of the sports we've got going on. The football, basketball crossover month of November is always a bear. And we're just about through it. One more football game left to go. The big state title game with Oakland and Ravenwood coming up on Saturday night. And then our attention fully turns to basketball. But John and I had some hoops for you last night. Thoroughly enjoyed our time over at Siegel. A couple of really good wins for the Siegel programs. So with that being said, we just keep rocking and rolling along here. A reminder that with one link, you can touch every platform and all local at wgnsradio.com/live. Listen, of course, on our FM and AM frequencies, 1019, 100.5, and AM 1450. Watch on Big G TV, other various platforms that's on, YouTube, Facebook, others. So stream anywhere, anytime with this one link, wgnsradio.com/live, Live. Just one little hub for you to figure out everything, right? If you want to watch, you want to listen, you want to stream, all that. So there it is. Let's see. Let's start with the birthday club today, shall we? Today's Slick Pig Barbecue Birthday Club winner is Kevin Fisher. So, Kevin, happy birthday. Enjoy the delicious, scrumptious, mouth-watering, sweet treat banana pudding that they have at Slick Pig, 1920 East Main. Get to go over and enjoy that. Just tell them, Kevin, it's your birthday. You're the birthday club winner, and they'll serve it right up. So we appreciate the Robinson family and their 30 years here in Rutherford County and their 30 years of partnership with us on various ventures. And just great folks at Slick Pig, 1920 East Main Street. Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, and we've got a huge reminder. Middle Tennessee Electric, they are sponsoring, powering, if you will, the Murfreesboro tree lighting. That is coming up on Saturday, December 5th, this Friday. Let me start over. This Friday. You didn't hear me say that other thing. It's Friday, December 5th, this Friday, 6 o'clock, powered by MTE. It's downtown, of course. Caroling, Meet Santa. They've got carriage rides. What a great partnership with Murfreesboro and the Main Street program and Middle Tennessee Electric making it all happen. Of course, the festive tree lighting will be the centerpiece of the event. Starts at 6 o'clock Friday, powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. And 1 week after that, Middle Tennessee Electric is joining Whitfin Funeral Chapel's Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff and Adam Tipton State Farm Insurance to bring coverage of the Murfreesboro Christmas Parade. It is Saturday. What is this? Saturday. I think I've got Oakland on the mind. I've been doing some work on that. Sunday, December 14th. So not this Sunday, but the next. This Sunday is Smyrna. Next Sunday is Murfreesboro. We're going to have it on Big GTV. Dalton and John are going to kind of anchor the coverage. I'm going to be roving around talking to folks, and we're going to have a big time. So if you can't make it to the Christmas parade, you know friends and family who are out of town, who want to see, little Johnny in the parade, send them the link. Go to wgnsradio.com/parade. That's going to be the hub for everything where you can easily get to it. It's also going to be live on our YouTube channel and on the homepage of the website. Then we'll have the archive, which we'll put lots of places, including wgnsradio.com/parade. And we plan to rebroadcast that over the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day time frame. So, going to be our first year doing this, so looking forward to it. And we have teamed up with Stewart's Creek Student Television. They're going to help us with all the camera work, so going to be a big day, December 14th. 2 o'clock's when the parade starts. Our coverage will start somewhere in there. We'll have a couple of hours of fun Christmas parade activities, December 14th. Thanks to all of our friends there who are helping to present the coverage. And our coverage here on Big GTV brought to you by Murfreesboro Medical Clinic, making healthcare easier, finding your doctor to check your records, all of those things made easy at MMC, offering everything you need all in one place. That's Murfreesboro Medical Clinic. Let's see, how about we salute this morning our good neighbor of the day. Sarah Murphy is today's good neighbor for always being helpful and compassionate and kind. 3 great adjectives right there to have someone describe you with. And Sarah Murphy today, the recipient of flowers from Jenny Harrison and our friends at Ryan Flowers Coffee and Gifts, along with your good neighbors here at WGNS. So again, our congrats go to Sarah Murphy. And this good neighbor recognition brought to you by SRM Concrete, locally grown, nationally known, and honoring everyday folks who go above and beyond for others. Well, with that being said, don't forget you can send in your good neighbors by texting the word neighbor to 615-893-1450, wgnsradio.com/good neighbor. Get you to that same place to nominate a good neighbor of the day.
Now, here's your Rutherford weather forecast.
Going to send you outside here, looking like 29 degrees maybe. Let's see. Yeah, 29 degrees here in downtown Murfreesboro. That was last hour's temperature reading, by the way. No, I think that's right on track. I can't believe it's still this chilly. 30 degrees coming in Smyrna, so let's get your forecast details real quick.
For this afternoon, Brian, we'll see gradually decreasing cloud cover with highs working up into the middle part of the 40s. Our winds looking to stay light. For tonight, clouds in the increase, a low in the upper 20s. And for Thursday, still cloudy but dry conditions, an afternoon high in the lower 40s. Do have a chance for some rain, then back in the forecast Thursday night into your Friday with mid-40s for highs on Friday, but looking to dry out Saturday and Sunday with lower 50s for highs. I'm meteorologist Michael Caro.
Thank you, Michael, for that update here from our friends at Weatherology. Why don't we take a look at our Rutherford weather radar, taking a sweep all around the county, the 600-plus square miles of the county, looking rain, or I guess in this case it would be snow-free, right? Some of our outlooks, our precipitation outlook over the next 6 to 10 days, looking kind of dry, below normal. The next 8 to 14 days, near normal precipitation, which is fairly dry for December, to be honest with you. But for the next month, we've got a chance of being above normal with our precipitation. Temperatures, next 6 to 10 days, probably going to be a good shot at being below normal. But low 50s, upper 40s, that's just a smidge below normal for us here, so not much below normal. Near normal for the next month, 2 weeks or so, and then for the month, equal chances of being near normal for the temperature. So not much to pass along there, except the end of the month we could be in a little rainier, maybe even stormy period, and it's winter, so that could be, I don't even want to say it. Who knows? Too far away to project other than saying the signals are there. We could have some precipitation. So there you go. Look at your forecast. We check it on Rutherford Weather, rutherfordwx.com. That's our webpage where you go to that site, like, subscribe, turn on notifications. On your favorite platform, social media platform, we understand about almost 35% of you take in our content on Big GTV and Rutherford Weather. It's higher on Rutherford Weather, but 30, 40, 45% on your television. Well, you can do that on the YouTube channel. Got the YouTube app right there on your TV. Can't go wrong with that. Facebook, X, some of the other places where you can catch Rutherford Weather. RUCO Weather, R-U-C-O Weather, for the latest information from Rutherford Weather.
Good day, Rutherford County. This is Lee Colvin, financial advisor and CFP with Edward Jones. Let's get the latest business news from our financial desk.
Right now, the Dow on the rise as investors shake off weak jobs data and Microsoft's decline. The Dow up 251 points right now at 47,726. S&P ahead 868.37. NASDAQ is down, however, 14 points, 23,399.
From Wall Street to Church Street, that's the latest business news from the Edward Jones Financial Desk. I'm financial advisor and CFP Lee Colvin. Call 615-907-7056 or stop by our office on South Rutherford Boulevard in the Public Shopping Center.
Rutherford Issues on News Radio WGNS.
Well, stay with us. We've got a check of world news from CBS. Dalton's got your Rutherford Roundup. We've got a lot to do here on the big show today. We're going to kick it off here with a look at the CBS headlines.
CBS Radio News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. Homeland Security's launched a new immigration enforcement operation in New Orleans. CBS's Katie Weiss says it got underway this morning.
I saw a few federal agents throughout the city's popular tourist district called the French Quarter and along Canal Street, which is normally a very bustling tourist street with lots of shops and restaurants. The federal agents appeared to be kind of getting into position. They didn't appear to be making any arrests, at least from what I could tell.
And a new federal effort is poised to start in a state that's home to tens of thousands of people from Somalia, a day after President Trump unleashed this.
I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez.
We are told by U.S. officials that ICE is indeed preparing to launch an immigration crackdown in the Twin Cities area in Minnesota, targeting primarily immigrants from Somalia who have final deportation orders, meaning people who went through the process and were ordered deported by an immigration judge.
CBS's Olivia Rinaldi says lawmakers get a chance to question the admiral involved in a controversial second strike on survivors of a boat attack in the Caribbean.
Secretary Hegseth said that he wasn't even present for this second strike, that he saw the first strike, and then implying that the second one happened hours later, said he had left and was not there for this, but trusted Admiral Frank Bradley to make a decision about the strike. Admiral Bradley is expected to talk to Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill tomorrow.
The police have arrested a man who was allegedly plotting an attack on the University of Delaware's police department. CBS's Michael Wallace.
After Newcastle County police stopped 25-year-old Luqman Khan last week, they searched his truck and found a Glock handgun, a switch to make the Glock fully automatic, 4 extended magazines, ballistic body armor, a notebook with a sketch of the layout of the university's police department, and writings about martyrdom. Police say a later search of his home turned up another Glock and a rifle. Khan is facing federal charges.
President Trump said today he's granting a full and unconditional pardon to Republican Representative Henry Cuellar of Texas and his wife. They were charged with bribery. More December snow in the forecast after an early week blast in the Midwest and East. CBS New York meteorologist John Elliott.
Parts of New Mexico could get 18 inches of snow. Again, a welcomed water resource, but it's definitely going to have an impact on travel. And it also speaks to how cold it's going to be coast to coast.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 214 points. The S&P is up 11, so is the NASDAQ. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ascension St. Thomas Heart is the leader in Middle Tennessee for heart care, providing the most advanced options, including heart surgery and transplants. Our nationally recognized cardiac team cares for more adult hearts than anyone in the state, from AFib to heart failure, using minimally invasive options when possible to help shorten recovery, making Ascension St. Thomas Heart your first choice for routine heart care and cardiac emergencies. Schedule a heart screening or find a cardiologist at ascension.org/St. Thomas Heart.
I'm Dalton Barrett for News Radio WGNS, and here are some of the top stories impacting Rutherford County on your Rutherford Roundup for Wednesday, December the 3rd, 2025. Tensions continue to rise in Rutherford County as controversy swirls around book removals within the Rutherford County library system. Library Director Luann James, who was appointed in July, alleges that Board Chair Cody York instructed her to bypass standard policy and remove certain books from library shelves. James further claimed York personally checked out books that he deemed inappropriate, keeping them so long that they were marked lost and then removed from the system. She also accused York of requesting detailed patron information, including household data and checkout history. York has denied all allegations, asserting that his request was solely to identify non-county residents for a standard fee assessment, and that any decisions about removing books were ultimately James' responsibility. This dispute comes as Rutherford County libraries grapple with a state-level directive mandating an immediate age appropriateness review of all juvenile and young adult material. Several branches across Murfreesboro and Smyrna were temporarily closed due to the overwhelming task of reviewing over 100,000 books in just 60 days. Local advocates, including the Rutherford County Library Alliance and Murfreesboro Indivisible, have criticized the directives as a form of censorship that undermines children's access to inclusive literature. One book, Fred Gets Dressed, was specifically flagged for review by the Tennessee Secretary of State's office. The community response has been vocal, with dozens attending the recent board meeting to protest what they see as a politically motivated effort to limit representation in public literature. Volunteer fire departments in Rutherford County are reaching what officials call a critical breaking point, as staffing shortages and aging equipment threaten emergency response capabilities. During a recent Public Safety Committee meeting, county leaders acknowledged that many departments across Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and surrounding areas are stretched thin. While Tennessee has around 700 fire departments, nearly 500 of those are volunteer-based. Gary West, vice president of the Tennessee Firemen's Association, noted that today's lifestyles, marked by busy schedules and shifting priorities, have drastically reduced the pool of willing volunteers. The decline comes despite a 2019 state grant program aimed at helping departments afford essential gear. Yet, as West emphasized, turnout equipment, radios, and training are still largely funded through local fundraisers. The state's newest investment in fire infrastructure is its largest yet, with grant applications due by December 4th. Many local departments in Rutherford County are expected to apply in hopes of shoring up resources that can no longer be taken for granted. Meanwhile, just south of Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee State University is expanding its reach with a $73.4 million aerospace complex that'll be constructed in Shelbyville. Slated for a December 3rd groundbreaking, the project will relocate MTSU's flight operations from the Murfreesboro Airport to the new Shelbyville facility. University officials say that the move will accommodate the growing demands of its aerospace program, while boosting workforce development in the region. The complex will feature hangars, classrooms, and an expanded training capacity. The city of Murfreesboro is taking legal action to block a proposed expansion of the Middle Point landfill, arguing that BFI's filing with the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation bypasses the required local review process. The expansion would add a 70-foot mound and an additional 19 million tons of waste, extending the landfill's operation through 2046. Officials in Murfreesboro and across Rutherford County argue that the public was denied its right to comment on a project that poses serious environmental concerns. Over 4,000 odor complaints and multiple environmental violations have been logged, while the test results in a separate federal case show ongoing leachate discharge into the East Fork Stones River, a critical water source for the region. As environmental tensions mount, Murfreesboro prepares to celebrate its 2025 Christmas parade, with a local hero leading the way. Bill Allen, a D-Day survivor and longtime civic leader, has been named the Grand Marshal for the December 14th event. Allen's decades of service to the city include roles with the Murfreesboro Electric Department, Parks and Recreation Board, and Golf Commission, where he helped shape key public assets like Old Fort Golf Course. His commitment to youth programs, including PTA leadership and coaching in the Babe Ruth League, earned him a place in the Old Timers Baseball Hall of Fame. A deacon at First Baptist Church and community figure through Woodfin Funeral Chapel, Allen represents the heart of Murfreesboro. You can watch the Murfreesboro Christmas Parade streaming on Big G TV December the 2nd at 2 p.m. For more information, visit wgnsradio.com/parade. That's all for now. For updates on these and many more local news stories, be sure to check out our website, wgnsradio.com, or even follow us on social media at News Radio WGNS on Facebook, as well as X. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to leave a rating or a review on Spotify and iTunes, a comment on YouTube, or share it with a friend. I'm Dalton Barrett for News Radio WGNS, part of your Good Neighbor Network, and I'll talk to you later.
FM 1019, FM 100.5, WGNSradio.com. The Good Neighbor Network. Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
We're back here on Rutherford Issues and powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. You know, the holiday season is here, and in downtown Murfreesboro, we flipped the switch on the tree next Friday night, the 5th. So be sure to be a part of that. It's powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Starts around 6 in terms of the tree lighting activities all evening with caroling, Santa, and, of course, bringing in the joy of the season downtown. Celebrate Christmas next Friday. Well, it's time to talk about Rutherford County schools, and from the school board joining today, Caleb Tidwell, school board member. And first of all, happy post-Thanksgiving. Did you get out of shopping today by coming in here? I don't know.
I haven't got out of it yet.
Okay.
But thanks for having me on, Brian.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Good to have you. Always good to catch up on these on Rutherford County schools and hear from our school board members. And I guess all the buzz has been locally with sports about the big football game tonight. Pretty cool that Rutherford County is guaranteed a trip to the state championship game. That's one way or another.
That's right. Well, as a graduate of Oakland High School, I'll be cheering on the defending champions, the Patriots, but I'm glad that we have somebody representing either way.
Yeah. Oakland has won 4 out of the last 5 state championships, so it's hard to go against them, but
let's just go ahead and make it 5. You know, 5 out of 6 is not bad.
Blackman's going to have a little something to say about that, I would think. But,
yes.
There has been quite a bit of information on Twitter about making sure you get there early, and there is a capacity and all these kinds of things. And the weapons detection and all, the clear bag policy, all of those things, people are used to that now, but I haven't had a chance to catch up with you and get your thoughts on that. But I would think anything that we can do to one more safety measure doesn't hurt anybody.
That's right. And, to be honest, I think if you're wanting to go to this game tonight and you're wanting to see the first half, you need to be there. You plan to be there probably an hour and a half earlier or earlier. There's going to be a lot of traffic, especially the way that it's set up for Oakland. It's kind of on the backside. And then they're going to make sure that everybody goes through that weapon detection system. And that's for a cause that we're all a part of, which is safety. That's paramount here. But there will likely, even though it is a great system and they're going to have a lot of people working it, it will likely slow things down. And as you would expect, there's going to be a very large crowd there tonight, hopefully a capacity crowd. I think that'd be great for both teams to get that kind of support. But it's for a good reason that we have these things in place. But if you're wanting to actually enjoy the game without the fear of possibly missing a good portion of it, I would imagine it would be best to get there as early as possible and just make a night of it. If you've already shopped all the morning, just go ahead and take a break in the evening and enjoy the second half.
You can get dinner there, at the concession stand and help out there and just get there early enough, and it'll be a great evening. Obviously, that's been a couple of things that I guess if we were to say, let's talk about things that happened this first semester, that and the new cell phone regulations, or whatever you want to call it. Those are two of the big things that affected our schools this semester.
That's right. And both are pretty significant changes. Of course, I'd say the same thing about the weapon detection system. Mm-hmm. Security, safety has always been paramount for Rutherford County schools. When I go and travel to conferences, whether it's a state conference or a national conference, and they're telling us about all the things that we could possibly do to increase our safety measures, Rutherford County is always ahead of the grain. So one of these things that we're doing, we've kind of jumped out here and went with the weapon detection system for all of our schools. And initially, it wasn't something that I was a huge proponent of. I do not want our schools to feel not like a school, a welcoming place. And so I didn't initially like the idea of it. But as the world that we live in has some certain challenges to it, we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power. And this is another tool that we had in our bag. So initially, whenever we started the weapon detection systems, there were long lines for students to get in and figure out what they needed to bring and what they had to hand, the 3-ring binders, set those things off, and how they had to hand that out, and just learning the system. Now that I've seen it in play,
that dragon's roar sends shivers down the spine. Think you can outsmart
it's a great
it
system.
This time?
I'm glad that
What's
we have
your clever
it. They're very
plan?
mobile. We get to use them for not just our schools, but also for extracurricular activities, basketball games, football game tonight.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to have. So weapon detections, yes, that's a great thing. You mentioned the cell phone policy. I was a kind of spearheading this particular policy here locally, and then of course the state made a lot of changes. We had a strong policy to begin with, and of course implementing it is neither fun for the teacher or the school system, as just this generation is so attached to social media and different things. But when we look at the data and the studies about cell phone usage and the damage that it can cause, the distractions that it is, I think they said, one of the studies said that a notification causes a 45-second distraction. So it could be a text, could be an email, could be whatever, a 45-second distraction for a student. And the average student gets about 300 notifications a day.
Wow.
So with that, just filling it, even if it's on vibrator, fill it in your pocket. They're thinking about it. They're just losing that focus. Is so-and-so texting me about tonight's football game? Are we making plans? Whatever it may be. But it becomes this distraction. So we also learn the schools that took the step to restrict it significantly, their performance increased, their discipline issues decreased. And so we're waiting to see what the data is as we go out throughout this first year, but I can't believe that it's not going to be positive. It's certainly going to be a beneficial factor for the students.
Now, you mentioned we already had a fairly strong, policy for cell phone use in schools, but now it's like pretty much no cell phones during the school day.
Pretty much. They have them. They can have them on their person, but we want them to have them off. So, but it had to be a really emergent situation for them, where they could turn it back on in those types of situations and reach out to their parents or family members, or what, God forbid, that would be a situation. But they do have them. We just didn't want them to be actively available to the students, because it is such a distraction.
Yeah.
And just beyond that, the social fabric of not being able to, the face-to-face communication and stuff that we're having right here today, it's harder for that generation than it is for us, because they're so used to that communication through a screen. So beyond just the academic portions, the social emotional portions are still having a great impact on just restricting that. So they do have them on them. They are powered off. So there is that helps the emergency thing, which is about the only benefit that I can personally see. As far as them talking to their coaches and lining up practice and all that, hey, do that the night before, a couple days before. If there's a change of the day, have the coach reach out to the students. We can make that work. We made it work way before cell phones.
Right.
We're going to be fine after them.
Well, and maybe that's why we have morning announcements and pay attention to all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be interesting to see. We're seeing a lot of young people, that are in their 20s, maybe even early 30s, but trying to also take a step back approach, because they were of the generation when it just really started to take off, and now they're trying to take a step back from that, with constant messaging and on social media so much, and make time for friends, family, face-to-face conversations. So society sometimes takes care of things. That's
agreed. And there was a documentary that came out called The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. So eye-opening just to see. And that's for not the kids, of course, as well. When you have some of these CEOs of these companies that have these algorithms, and they're saying, yeah, I don't let my own kid have a cell phone because of how strong the algorithm is. It just shows you that it force feeds you to keep you looking. It doesn't care. It doesn't hold a moral balance there. It just wants to literally just make sure your eyeballs are still connected, because then the more connected you are there, the more clicks, the more videos, the more views, the better the advertisement, the better the revenue. Mm-hmm. So with all those factors playing a part of it, it can get time. It's easy for any of us to get wrapped up into it. It's something that I think we have to actively stand against and monitor ourselves. But it's easy to get wrapped up into that, because on the other side, it can be an extremely useful tool. So, I use mine for business all the time. Mm-hmm. So I would hate to disconnect it completely, but restricting that and just making sure you're focused. There are some things that I think some of the major companies are doing to have like a focus feature where it cuts off your notifications for a while where you work. There are items like that. But I think generally, this step back that you're seeing is just people it's like they have to get pushed so far to one direction that they just naturally, the people will start stepping back. And so there is a small, like right now, there's a small push to go back to dumb phones, is what they're calling them. And I actually know someone that has one. I'm super impressed that they're able to survive on that. But I think the point is, if you notice that something is taking up, consuming more of your time, and it's built and designed, and that's the social dilemma part that I loved. It's designed to grab your time as much as possible all the time. When it's designed that way, you got to be super cautious of how much you let it take over the time that you have.
It can. It's definitely a social dilemma for sure. We're talking with Caleb Tidwell, Rutherford County School Board member. Caleb, how many years have you been on the board?
I have been a school board member since September of 2022. So, coming up on 6 years.
In that 6-year time, we've added more schools. We're, 52 schools now?
52.
With 53 coming out of the ground at Poplar Hill Middle School.
That's right.
And more on the way. The growth that we have seen just in your 6 years there has been tremendous.
It's been substantial. Now, I'm basically born and raised in this area.
Yeah.
Lived in Mercerville all my life. Love it. Understand the appeal of why other people keep coming here. But as long as we have this substantial growth, there was a period where we did not build any schools. I say Rutherford County Schools did not build any schools. I went on the board at that time for 4 years. And the growth did not stop.
Right.
And so we are literally playing catch up to a plan that should have been possibly done a little bit better, strategically planned a little bit better.
And even already behind before that, too.
And behind before that as well.
Yeah.
And so that just increased the load. So we use every tool at our disposal. Of course, we're building schools. We're building a school a year. Basically, we got Poplar Elementary plus the additions last year. So we opened up 3 high school additions and the elementary school. We plan to open up another addition at Laverne High School in the fall of 2026, along with the middle school. We're in a contract right now for some property on the north end. Very dense. I say the north end is kind of northwestern side, but very dense area up there, Lee Road property. We plan to ask for a high school for that. Now that takes a little bit longer to build, so we won't be able to hit that new school every single year, and a little bit more substantial cost.
Is that Blackman Stewart's Creek area?
Yes.
Kind of, okay.
Yep. And it will pull students from those areas.
Yeah.
And that'll provide some relief. But we also, we have to do the rezone, and that's almost like a curse word if you're a school board member. It gets the emails, it gets the phone calls, it disrupts lives, and of course we understand that. And some people have been rezoned multiple times.
I was going to say you probably have had to deal with rezoning every year that you've been on the board, just about almost.
Yeah. So we decided to approach that a little bit differently. We had a group come in that. An outside group that does this, pulls all the data, looks at the new builds, looks at the birth rates, they look at all the data. Paid them to come in. We've been working with them. I think this is our 3rd year now. And they provide all the data for us to make these decisions. So our purpose was to set it up to where we would not be rezoning every 2 years. And then where you wouldn't have grandfathered students in or as dual zones in that outlast the rezone, and then by the time those disappear, you got to rezone again. It's just you kept people constantly moving.
Yeah.
So we tried to do a lot of forecasting, a lot of projection there, and it ended up being a really good thing. We made some adjustments where some of these areas that have to do rezone. We did a district-wide rezone, so just touched everybody last year. Now we had been talking about that for 2 or 3 years. We got community input. We went and had community meetings at different schools on the south side, the north end. I think we had 3 or 4 different areas. We got input from the community. And, still it was an adjustment, but at least it was a slow move instead of just like the quick cutoff. So we've made those adjustments, and that was for the district-wide. That was a tool that we had in our own toolbox from the Rutherford County Schools. But still, people continue to come. And just to kind of paint an example, you have these new developments that are happening right beside schools, right beside them. So if your zone was a large geographic zone, I'm going to use Rockville area as an example. So if you're in a zone like Rockville and you have kind of a rural area, it's a large geographic zone, and you're kind of on the outskirts of that zone. And then they're building all these new houses right beside Rockville. Well, if you have a lot of new students move into there, that is going to shrink the geographic zone of Rockville toward the school because their house is right beside it.
Yeah.
And there are individuals, and look, and I understand this argument. They say, we've always been Rockville, 10 years, whatever, we've always been on, and they've been kind of on the outskirts. But as people build in around these schools, which is appealing to the developers, they want to be as close to those schools as possible, especially we can get later into the reward schools, but we are a very high performing district. We got a lot of fantastic schools. So that's appealing as well. So it's a selling point for these developers to build as close to these schools as possible. When they do that, what that does is that cuts out those individuals in those rural areas, and it shoots them over to the areas where there aren't developments happening right beside the school. I don't know how you stop that. At least from the school district standpoint, we don't have an ability to stop that. And I think our county commission has done a fair job of doing everything that they can in their wheelhouse to try to not shut off growth, but battle it as best as possible. But it's like when we get to the Stewart's Creek area, and we can talk about that if you'd like to as well. Booming area.
Yeah.
And of course, I've had a lot of conversations with people in that area, and they're tired of the growth there. They're tired of it as well. But the reason people keep moving there is because they love it there. The same reason the people that live there now love it. They're like, hey, we love it and we don't want it to change. And I'm with you. A Murfreesboro person, I'm like, hey, I want Murfreesboro to slow down. We love having all the restaurants, but we want it to slow down. But with that being said, that same reason people are going to continue to move there, which means there's a demand. And as long as there's a demand, developers are still going to build there. And unless there is some outside source, I don't know if it'd be the state, I don't know if it'd be the local city, municipalities, that could put restrictions, which both seem to be very unlikely to do.
Sure.
Then it's going to continue. And so our job at the school district is to work with the tools that we have, which is that district-wide rezone, which we did. And then as we open up new schools, there are going to be new rezones, which is where we're at with the middle school.
And so opening up Poplar Hill Middle is going to require to rezone, especially in that area, the schools?
Yes, especially in that area. But for the middle schools, we haven't done a middle school rezone, I think, in 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
So this isn't something that they had to deal with a lot more often. So now that we have this new middle school opening up, yes, we're going to have to rezone because we got to pull kids to get them into that school and then relieve some of these other schools. But when those get relieved, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So the schools closest, they get some relief, but then we got to give them enough relief to get to the school that's like to pass them, and then they come and fill the other seats. So we're spreading it out best we can because the projections that we're seeing, which is 56,000 students in the next 5 years, as a total. Mm-hmm. That's another substantial increase. And so you're talking about 4,000 more students. We got to have somewhere to put them.
In the typical high school is what, 2,000?
Yeah, 2,500.
Okay.
We would like to shrink those a little bit. We've even talked about doing like a hybrid model where we have, instead of a 2,500 seat high school on the north end, we build a 1,200 seat or 1,500 seat high school on the north end, and then same size on the south end. A little bit more cost, but it's easier to build and buy now than it will be years down the road, and we will need it on the south end later as well. You just tend to have better performance, less discipline issues, the smaller your community school is versus these large schools.
But are we going to wind up in 5 years adding on to that 1,500 to make it 2,000, and then
Yeah.
It would seem that would be the logical thing to do if you needed more space and you had the school, right?
Absolutely. Perfect example. We build Poplar Hill Elementary, and Stewart's Creek is right there. I mean, right there. And Poplar Hill, it's got some space left. I mean, we tried to leave some room for growth that we knew was coming in there based on the projections. But Stewart's Creek is still slightly above capacity, and that's after shifting students from all around the area. Yeah. I mean, it's as soon as you pour a little water out, somebody just dumps another gallon in.
Yeah.
It's a desirable place to live, so I get it.
That is just part of the growth. I mean, if you think that this is going to end the rezoning and end the adjustments and all, it's not. I mean, we're going to continue to see that. Yeah, it's not really possible. I keep going back to Stewart's Creek because it's just it's almost fascinating at this point to how terrible it's been up there. What's happening in Stewart's Creek is what's happened in Blackman, that explosive growth. Yes. We're seeing that there now.
Yes, and you know what? And Blackman still does have some growth, but it's so dense that it's harder for them developers to bring in and buy a huge piece of land. It's like what land is left. And Stewart's Creek will eventually get that way. But in the meantime, there's going to be adjustments. So the rezoning will continue to happen, but just know your school board members, I know we don't agree on all things at our school board, but we are all in agreement that we are trying to do the best we can to prevent these rezones from being a annual occurrence. And what determines that? It's going to be how many people that move into some of these developments nearby are families. I mean, we got projections, we got ideas, but we don't really know until it's done.
Yeah.
So yes, it's going to continue to be a battle, but we're going to continue to face it and continue to build schools and continue to rezone in the best ways that we can to shift students to open seats, that's kind of, again, Stewart's Creek here. That's kind of what we're doing with Browns Chapel and Stewart's Creek. Browns Chapel's got space. Stewart's Creek's obviously still always out of space. A lot of people love their Stewart's Creek community. I completely get that. But unfortunately, you got seats open at Browns Chapel and you have no seats at all at Stewart's Creek Elementary. You got to shift. And hey, for us to go to the county commission and say, hey, we need to build another school, they're going to be like,
you've got seats here.
You got seats here. Why are you not using these? So we're making sure that we're doing everything the right way and making those cuts that we have to do as small as possible.
Last year, when that came up during the rezoning, it made more sense because I remember watching one of the meetings and Dr. Sullivan saying, well, if you don't do this, and I go to this before the school board and they say, well, you've got several hundred, seats here and here and here. Why do you need another new school? What's the answer if you didn't rezone? So
it's a great case. Yep.
Yeah. Before our time gets away and we're almost out of time, I do want to talk about the record number of reward schools this year. I mean, that's remarkable for the district.
It's awesome. And look, we're a level 5 district, which is amazing. We had 32 of our schools get a level 5 distinction. But on top of that, this typically does around the end of the year testing, the reward schools. And so we got those results back. 28 reward schools. Now, the previous record was 21, so it just wiped it out.
Yeah.
And that's a testament. Those results based on some performance and growth and chronic absenteeism, things we've all worked to improve at the board. But the credit really goes to our staff, our principals, our EAs, all of those. Hey, our custodians that are keeping the buildings. It goes back to the people that are in the daily lives of these students that are not only providing a great atmosphere for them to be educated in, but also those great educators that we have in our system that are continuing to improve the lives of the students they get to work with.
Caleb, it's great to catch up with you. I love talking about Rutherford County schools. Between myself and John and the sports team, we're in the high schools. We do 150 high school events a year between mid-August and the end of May. And so we get to know a lot of these, especially high school principals and administrators, and we just have a wonderful school system, and athletics is a part of that, especially on the high school side. But just to see the reward schools, that's a testament to what's happening here in our district, and another reason why we have growth and rezoning and all that kind of thing too. So
that's right. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys highlighting the school system so much and being a part. We know you're a part of the community. We grew up listening to you ourselves, but we're just so thankful that you guys continue to promote the good things that are going around in our school system today.
And a lot of it. Well, Caleb, thanks for coming in. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you back here next month, I think.
Sounds great. I'll be here.
All right. That's Caleb Tidwell joining us, Rutherford County School Board member. That's going to wrap up our show today. Thanks for joining, and have a good day out there, everybody.
Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home has served Murfreesboro families with compassion and care since 1880. As a family-owned funeral